What's good, family? Welcome back to the Unfiltered Soul 831. I'm Ruben 831, and around here we have the conversations most people are afraid to have. No fake motivation, no pretending life's easy, just honest conversations, real stories, and lessons earned the hard way. So, wherever you're listening from, I'm glad you're here. Now, let's jump into today's episode. Last episode, we talked about the pain that built the man I am today. And after I finished recording that episode, I sat there for a long time because I realized something. I've shared a lot with you guys already. I've talked about toxic relationships, healing, starting over, being a single father, learning how to rebuild my life. But there's one chapter I've never really told. Not because I was hiding it, but because for a long time, I wasn't sure I was ready to tell it. See, everybody has parts of their life they're proud of, and everybody has parts they wish they could erase. This chapter falls into that second category. I'm not telling this story because I'm proud of it. I'm telling it because somebody listening right now might be headed down the same road I was. And maybe, just maybe, my mistakes can help somebody else from making their own. Because this isn't a prison story. It's the story of a kid who never really got the chance to be one. If we're gonna have an honest conversation, we can't start with the handcuffs. We have to start years before that, because that's where the story really begins. I was born and raised in Salinas, California, on the east side, Acosta Plaza, SAP. If you're from there, you already know. And if you're not, just understand this. Kids don't choose the environment they're born into. They adapt to it. Whatever you grow up seeing every single day eventually starts feeling normal. For some kids, normal is riding their bikes until the streetlights come on, playing Little League, worrying about homework. For other kids, normal is hearing sirens almost every night, seeing police lights around the neighborhood, watching people get arrested, growing up around gangs, learning things no child should ever have to learn. That was my normal. Looking back now, I realize I never really had a childhood. My little brother and I had to grow up way too damn fast. While other kids were worried about cartoons or what toy they wanted for Christmas, we were learning how to survive, learning what not to say, learning who not to trust, learning how to read people, learning how to read situations before we were even old enough to understand why. When that's all you know, you don't think your life is different. You think everybody grows up that way. I remember being around 7 or 8 years old, watching the police kick in our front door, hearing everybody yelling, watching my dad get taken away in handcuffs, seeing my mom panic. At that age, you don't fully understand what's happening, but you're old enough to remember how it made you feel. Fear has a way of planting itself deep inside a kid. Even after the memories start fading, the feeling stays. People ask me sometimes, when did you grow up? Honestly, I don't know if I ever really got the chance to be a kid. Because growing up where I did, life didn't wait for you. By 6 years old, I was already learning not to be a snitch. Not because somebody sat me down with a lesson plan, because that's what survival looked like around us. When you are surrounded by something long enough, it stops looking strange. It just becomes another Tuesday. Most people think kids wake up one morning wanting to ruin their lives. That's not how it happens. Most of us weren't trying to become criminals. We were trying to belong, trying to fit in, trying to earn respect in a world where respect felt like the only thing nobody could take from you. Looking back now, I finally understand something 17-year-old Ruben couldn't. Belonging somewhere and becoming who you are supposed to be aren't always the same thing. Sometimes, the place that makes you feel accepted is the very place that's quietly destroying your future. But you don't see that when you're a kid. Hell, a lot of adults still don't see it. I was always outside, always with the homies, always posted up, always looking for something to do. Looking back, a lot of it wasn't even about trying to act hard. It was about never slowing down. Because when you slow down, you start thinking. And when you start thinking, you start feeling. A lot of us were taught not to feel. So instead, we laughed, we joked, we cruised around, we got into dumb shit. And every once in a while, that dumb shit had real consequences. I laugh now thinking about one thing. I used to drive a damn 1990 Lincoln Town Car to middle school, 7th grade. Can you imagine seeing some kid pulling up into school looking like he was headed to work? I looked way older than I really was. People thought I was in my 20s. Back then, I thought it was funny. Today, I realized I was trying to grow up before life ever gave me permission. The truth is, nobody was talking to me about college. Nobody was talking to me about building a career, retirement, investing, buying a home. Those conversations weren't happening. I was just living one day at a time. Then, one ordinary day, everything changed. It started like 100 other days. I wasn't thinking, oh, today's the day I'm gonna lose my freedom. Nobody thinks like that. I was 17 years old, hanging out with the homies. Eventually, we decided to head back towards my house. The plan was simple. Go back, smoke some weed, just another afternoon. But on the way, everything took a turn. One bad decision turned into another, then another. And before I even had time to understand how far things had gone, my entire future had changed. Not long after, I was arrested. I was charged with kidnapping, carjacking, assault and battery, assault with a deadly weapon, threatening, and intimidating a witness. The possibility of being tried as an adult was real. I was 17 years old, listening to grown men talk about the possibility of spending decades in prison. 25 years to life. I don't care how tough somebody thinks they are. When you're 17 and somebody tells you your future might already be over, something inside you breaks. I fought my case for 8 months, sitting in Santa Clara Juvenile Hall, maximum security. Waiting, wondering, hoping, praying. Every court date felt like my entire life depended on what another person was about to say. I remember laying there at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking about my parents, thinking about my little brother, thinking about everything I had taken for granted. Freedom is funny like that. You don't appreciate the little things until somebody takes every single one of them away. A hot shower, sleeping in your own bed, walking outside whenever you want, hugging your family, hearing your mom's voice without a phone between you. Those things sound ordinary until they're gone. For the first time in my life, I couldn't outrun my own thoughts. There weren't any distractions anymore. No cruising around, no hanging out, no pretending everything was okay. It was just me, locked in a room, forced to meet the version of myself I'd been running from for years. And honestly, that scared me more than the bars ever did. See, most people think prison starts when the gate closes. I don't. I think prison starts long before that. Sometimes Prison is the neighborhood that convinces you pain is normal. Sometimes prison is believing survival is the same thing as living. Sometimes prison is thinking respect is worth more than your future. The bars, they just make it impossible to keep running from yourself. Next episode, I'll tell you what happened after the judge made his decision. How I ended up in the California Youth Authority. Why they called it Gladiator School. The fights, the brotherhood, the nights that almost broke me, and the lessons I never expected to learn behind those walls. I'll see you in part 2. Thanks for watching.